Seriously.
Huh?
So, let's see. Let's trade places here.
Oh, for the sun?
Actually, no, we were better this way. Okay, go ahead, Dusty. Tell me what your reactions are to the choking.
Well, I'm a registered nurse for almost 30 years, and there's a difference between the kind of choking that happens when you need the Heimlich maneuver because you're choking on your ham sandwich versus the kind of choking that occurs when you have asthma or another chronic pulmonary disease. So these are two very different issues. And it's true that if you need the Heimlich maneuver, you are in a situation where you can't speak. But there's other ways to choke where you can speak until you die.
So the people that are saying that because he was obese and had asthma, it caused his death, that really has no bearing on this issue, does it?
Well, it has the bearing that being choked in that fashion in an unsafe band maneuver can cause the airways to spasm and close up in someone who does have asthma, which is a very common disorder.
Okay. So, do you think that there should have been more of a prosecution involved?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The coroner ruled it a homicide. It should have been prosecuted as a homicide.
And do you happen to know whether or not this was a legal maneuver that they used on
My understanding is that particular maneuver is banned by the New York City Police Department, so the officer was practicing outside his protocol.
Well, so how does this...
On the other side over there, there's some...
so how does this translate to what's happening locally?
Well,
Do you see the issue here?
my reason for being out here today is because the whole world is talking about Albuquerque. Police brutality and excessive force, we've become the poster child for those issues before Ferguson. I'm ashamed of that. This is my home, and it stops today.
Okay, well, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Do you have any special words to say for the Attorney General?
I think she needs to leave her office. We need new leadership. And that's part of the problem here in Albuquerque is we have a district attorney who's not willing to hold the community accountable, not willing to hold our police officers accountable for their actions. And that needs to stop today as well. So I hope she steps down. Thank you.
They might say, well, this is retaliation. She hasn't prosecuted since
Right.
we're investigating. Do you feel that that'll be a conflict?
We may not do that. Certainly, we've always been, once again, I'm an attorney. I have an ethical responsibility to avoid any kind of conflict. So we will definitely be evaluating.
Can you speak to where you are in the process in terms of the Boyd shooting? Are you close? Are you weeks out? You have told us previously you expected that case to be completed by Christmas.
No, I don't think so. I think we said that we expected something next year is what I intended on, saying in the spring of next year. I said that.
Is that still the timetable then for the Boyd case?
Right now, please, whenever I say that, we have timetables that move. We have people that get sick, that change our timetable, but that is still what we have.
Have you been contacted by the Attorney General's office?
No, I have not been contacted by the Attorney General.
How about
I mean, I
APD?
have had contact with them throughout the last
About this
35
case?
years.
About this case?
No, not about this case. I have not.
Has APD contacted you today?
Not to my knowledge. No, they have not contacted me. I don't know if they've left any messages for me now that I'm here, but no, they have not.
You've been very open about your relationship with Justin, with us, and the tough love. Just to be clear, you've never interfered with any of his cases, sought any preferential treatment, you didn't bond them out, nothing.
Tough love is my practice. And I've even had conversations with Justin because tough love is really hard. And I'm an only parent, so I'm always second guessing myself. His father died when he was about 12. And so I'm a parent like anybody else in the room that's a parent. And it's really hard. And there have been times when I have spoken with Justin about some of the difficulties when he was doing better. And he has told me that he thought the tough love approach helped him. And so that reinforced it and made it a little bit easier for me. He didn't ever say it was easy, but he said that he thought that it was helpful.
Kari, where do you go from here?
I'm going right over to my office and starting to work is where I go from here. We're trying to get the police reports. We would like to have all the reports And we would like to, we'd like to put an end to this as soon as we can, but we have to know what we're dealing with.
It's just gnawing on me, Kari. I apologize, and this dovetails what he was saying. Regardless of whether there's the insinuation of any wrongdoing, did you, bottom line, even speak to any of these people? I mean, that's regardless of
You know what,
police
I'm
report.
just not, my attorney might not want to represent me anymore. I said I'm not gonna do that, so please, respect that. I'm here, I'm answering, questions, I'm being as open as I possibly can. I ask for the same respect that I've given you over the last 14 years, okay?
Kari, a question from me here. It occurs to me that, a number of us here probably know exactly what it feels like to have a troubled kid moving into adulthood even. Drug addiction and the crimes that go hand in hand with drug addiction are pretty well documented. In our cases, though, we're not the top law enforcement official in the county, in the 2nd Judicial District. How do you balance the two things, given that many people have been in your predicament before, but none of us have been the top prosecutor in the Judicial District?
It is, I'm honest with you guys. I am who I am, and I've talked about personal things. It's very difficult when you're an only parent, and maybe that's not a big deal, but sometimes I wish I had someone to talk to or some counterbalance to me. But when you're an only parent and you have a high-profile job and you're working a lot, and sometimes work takes precedence when your kids have problems, they are on the news probably more than people that have committed homicide. I think it is difficult on them. I think it takes a toll on them. I know it certainly does on me and my parents. And it just makes things a whole lot more difficult. I didn't, when I ran for DA, it was a dream that I had when my dad was DA. I did not realize, I asked myself, am I tough enough? Can I do it? Do I have the knowledge, the experience? I never asked myself how will it impact my kids if they get in trouble, or will they be treated differently? Or, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. Of course, my kids were a lot younger then. And it's painful, but it's a reality. And I've told them, if you all get in trouble, you're going to be on the front page of the newspaper. To me, the easy solution to that is not to get into trouble. But they are human beings, and they have frailties, and we try to deal with it as best as we can. All families have difficulties and have challenges, different challenges. This is one of our challenges. I can tell you, and I don't mean to sound like Pollyanna, but I do think it's made us stronger. I do think that Justin's addiction has made me a more compassionate human being. I don't see the white and the black. I see a lot of grays. I do think it's made me a better prosecutor. I did a press conference on heroin, and I don't remember exactly when it was, but heroin addiction and how it has really impacted our community. And what really motivated me to do that press conference was Justin. And I wanted to speak to the people to try to give them some information and help them as I would want to be helped. So it's a challenge. I like to think every challenge is going to make me a better person. When you're going through it, it's a little tough.
Are you worried about his safety? Because he's still in jail.
Yes, that's an issue.
Kari,
But it's out of my hands.
you say that you haven't broken any laws, and you're just not going to talk about the specifics of the case, whether you spoke to Mr. Sena or the Barroses as reported
That
in the
will
Journal.
all be forthcoming.
Fair enough.
That will all be forthcoming.
Here's my question. If you didn't break any laws, do you believe that you've committed any ethical breaches in relation to what's been reported in the newspaper so far and regarding your son?
You mean in my actions, ethical breaches?
Yes.
No, absolutely not. Moral breaches, ethical, professional, legal, on any plane, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I hope you know me well enough. I don't, I'm truthful, I'm open, I'm honest, I put myself out there. I would not be saying these things. You would not be hearing from me today if I had an ounce of doubt.
On one of his larceny cases, it was conflicted out. Did you conflict that out?
I don't know if I conflicted it out. I know in the past I don't even want anything to do with it, so I'll have one of my chiefs conflict it out. But if they're not around and we need to get it out, I don't know, but it was any case involving any member of our office, his family member, we conflict those cases out.
Carrie, most of the knock on you, related to APD at least, has been that you're way too soft on the cops. I want to ask again the question that Chris asked. Why do you think this would be taking place? If you're standing there in front of us and saying that you've done absolutely nothing wrong, morally, ethically, legally, whatever, why would APD spend a year investigating you for something like this and then send the case up to the Attorney General's office and leak it to the Journal?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't get that I'm soft on cops from APD. We get criticism that we're tough because we're always prosecuting for any number of different things. And we get that they're angry with us because we're prosecuting. We get that they're angry with us because we hold them to a high standard. I think we work well together. So when I say they're angry at us, that doesn't mean that we're not cooperating, we're not working together. I think we have a common goal. But no, I get a lot of criticism from members of APD, but I would expect that. That's normal. We work together, we've got time limits, we've got too much to do, too little time, too few resources. So I just think that's all normal. I can't speculate, and I really don't want to speculate.
If any other parent had
Okay,
a child who
I
committed
guess I got my one last
If
question.
any other parent had a child who committed a crime, could they basically pay the alleged victim so they wouldn't be prosecuted?
I don't know. That's a legal question, and I'm really not, I haven't studied the statute, so I can't. And it depends on the facts again. It's not that simple. So I really can't answer that. You're asking me that in a vacuum, and I need all the facts. So thank you all very much. I really appreciate it, and I do look forward to the day when we'll all be back, and it'll be under a lot better circumstances.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay?
Thanks,
Thank
Gary.
you. My paper clip. That's the.
By definition, it's a turnaround. So we could, and emphasis on quick, if we could revolution, yeah, we can change the entire political system. But we gotta do it. I'll march with you anywhere. Huh? I'll totally, that's,
So they actually do that? I mean, I think so. Okay. Because like I said, I'm teaching him. I haven't been on this side where he is, and I'm just trying to let him know what the steps are and whatnot. Okay, well, I'm gonna try that. No, well,
so she
suggesting that at
specifically
least we're
said it's
knocking on
business
doors,
as
you know?
usual, and you know what that means? Business as usual. Our police will continue to shoot us in the back. People like Sandy's gonna be like, I'm gonna shoot you in your pecker. And we're gonna be like, oh my God, the language was all offensive. And we're gonna forget that 27 lay dead in our city.
I can't file a police report because the police never filed one.
Well,
Hey, and doesn't exist. They're not doing nothing. I got a broke elbow. I had 2 surgeries on my rotator cuff. Nothing got done. He came back a week later, looking out the window, was putting his gloves on like he was going to do something, and opened my door and told me to turn my music down, and he started doing this. But can't get help because there's no report.
you can't get help because there ain't no law.
Well, yeah, they don't even know what procedure is here. They don't know what procedure is. It's the Wild Wild West, I guess, but we can't carry guns.
Wild West.
When
You
is
got
this
that
going
right.
to, the question
You
today
got a
is
bunch
when
of
is this
cowboys.
going to stop and change?
Are you, so you're not part of the protest?
I don't know.
On the revolution, I say.
I'm gonna come back. I gotta try to get a police report.
All right, awesome.
No, I'll be back.
Thanks for coming, though.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how
All
that
right,
goes.
for sure.
All right.
How are you? I feel nervous. I got laryngitis. Good thing we didn't have you bring the batteries for the bullhorn.
I wanted on the phone while you
No justice!
No peace!
So she was
No
going back to her.
justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Any other parent had the option to pay and get their kid Christian.
Okay, but you wouldn't feel comfortable in Spanish?
Yeah, I'm not in Spanish because
Hey, hey!
find
Ho,
somebody.
ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go! Hey, hey! Out! Out! Out with the bloody Brandenberg! 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 Has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! The DA has got to go!
What's your name?
Dinah Vargas, DINAHVARGAS.
Dinah, tell me about it. You were up there for the whole thing. Did any of her answers explain anything to you or satisfy your curiosity in any way? What do you think of what was presented?
Well, I think what was presented gives the public or people in general more questions than there are answers to. But I think that's exactly by design what they do, because you see they control the language. So as long as she controls the language, she'll control whatever it is that she says.
Well, what do you think? What do you think of all this?
Well, I don't know what to think, and I've spoken out against the DA's office. I do know that I think it's a corrupt institution, and I think that they have unlimited amount of power, control, and money. And with those means, it's a breakdown of a little bit of people. That's what it does.
Is it kind of weird? I asked her about the weirdness of having a kid in trouble, which isn't weird at all.
Yeah.
But for her, of all people, the prosecutor, the person who takes people to trial and sees that they're thrown in jail, to have somebody like this in their family.
Well, I think that because we're all human and things just happen. Like, things are going to happen in our lives, and that's okay. But it's what we do with that. So, we know that her son was tried in this district. We know he's been in trouble before. And we know that we've gotten lies out of that institution under the reign of Kari Brandenberg. So, it's really hard to say, well, we're going to take your word for it because you've been so honest with us in the past, because you haven't. And that's just sort of
Thank you,
an ABQ fact.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like it.
The fact that she wouldn't discuss really what went on, does that just leave more doubt, more questions?
Well, it leaves more doubt because, I don't believe that she doesn't know more than what she is saying, but that's a personal opinion. But, I do know if she wanted to be honest with the citizens like she claimed, she could. But she won't.
Business as usual, is like killer cops.
Yeah. And so we can believe in what people say, but at the end of the day, what she said is exactly business as usual.
Thank you, Dinah. I appreciate it. Joseph, that was great.
Let me.